Welcome. Selamat sore, good evening, and welcome everyone to our very last online session for today as part of our AIMEP online segment of the program. Today, our speakers will be all of you. So we're really looking forward to having a more relaxed session than usual, where really we mainly give an opportunity for you all to reflect on your experiences, your highlights of the program so far. So as usual, before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we all live and work and are joining from for our session today. For myself and Rowan, that's the Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation. We would like to recognise their continuing connection to land, water and community, and to recognise their elders past, present and emerging. Now, today's session is a bit different because it is just all of us with nobody else, no extra speakers joining us. So what we're going to do, sorry, I'm trying to look at my look for my rename thing as well. What we're going to do is something also a bit different. We're going to invite you to change your name to not your name and your location, but your name and one key word that captures how you're feeling about your AIMEP experience so far, or about our session today in particular. So one word that just captures that in this moment, which I will also do as soon as I have pause. And of course, it would be wonderful if everyone could also turn their cameras on if they're able to, so that we can see one another. We'll also be recording our session just for internal purposes and to share with all of you, inshallah, as something that you can look back on for a few weeks after this part of the program finishes. But of course, as always, we request that you don't record the session or share it more broadly, so that we all feel comfortable. So we are very pleased that Ibu Lydia Santoso from the AII board, she had planned to join us, but unfortunately she's not able to join us. But fortunately, the reason is that she's being given an award at the Indonesian Embassy in Canberra at exactly the same time as this session, in recognition of her contribution to the Australia-Indonesia relationship. So, but Bu Lydia has very kindly recorded a message for us that we will share with you now.
Selamat sore, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Warm greetings to you all. I would first like to begin by acknowledging the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, traditional custodians on the land in which I stand on here today, and I would like to pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander people with us here today. First of all, I would like to congratulate you on completing the online component of this year's program. I know how much time, effort and commitment you have all invested in this journey and in this program, and I hope it's already sparked friendships. I know that it has, insights and more deepening ideas that will continue to grow in the next phase of the program. I've heard incredible feedback from Rowan and Brinna on how engaging you have all been, on the interesting topics that you have been discussed, the connections that you have made. So congratulations. It really does make my heart sing to hear such connections being made. I'm so sorry I cannot be online with you tonight. I am heading up to Canberra to Pak Siswo and the Embassy to attend the 80th celebration of Independence Day. So terribly sorry that I can't join online tonight. But it has been a pleasure to join some of the online modules with you and get to know you better. And I especially really valued the special session with Minister Abdul Muti. His reflections just reminded us how central interfaith understanding, dialogue and cooperation are to building stronger ties between our two nations and our communities. we are so incredibly lucky to have him as our alumni, and with his generosity and his time and willingness to always come back and address the IMEP cohort. So it was wonderful that we got a special session with him this year. As you prepare for the next phase of the program, I encourage you to carry forward that spirit of exchange, openness, and respect that defines IMEP. And I think that respect is incredibly important right now with all of what is happening across Indonesia. I think, and I'd like to extend my respect to my Indonesian colleagues and friends. I hope you all remain safe and that the situation is resolved, and the government can hear your thoughts and your concerns. The next phase of the program is where you'll be embarking on the in-person component, and I wish you all the best on your trip to Makassar. The board has actually visited Makassar 2 occasions since I have been on the board, and it has truly been a special place in Indonesia for me. We've had such an incredible time there. The hospitality is incredible. The food is amazing. The culture is even more amazing. And you are going to be well looked after by our esteemed Consul General, Pat Todd. He is just such a fantastic person to be heading up the consulate in Makassar. So enjoy. I'm very jealous that I cannot be with you, but have the most amazing time. And I am looking forward to meeting some of you here in Sydney in October, I believe, and putting some of those faces that I have seen and got to know across the screen. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person and hearing all about the program when I see you. So on behalf of the Australia-Indonesia Institute and all of the members of the board, I wish you all every success. Congratulations on successfully completing this part of the program with flying colours. We are so proud of you, and we are so excited to see how you will contribute to the future of our bilateral relationship. So terima kasih, thank you so much. And once again, heartfelt congratulations from me. All the best.
So thank you so much to Bu Lydia for the words that she shared with us there. And also very cool to see some of your words coming up. I love Hibat breakout room lovers. I think we just need to have another few months of optional breakout rooms where people can sign in if if they feel like they're missing them. Anjum, I have to ask what your
Mine is an acronym.
Yes,
There's too many
I
words.
figured it was something along those lines.
I don't know if anyone can figure it out. Oh, it's a quiz now.
I'm guessing there's some reference to IMEP in there. But no, I think you'll have to tell us.
I'm ready to meet everyone in person, inshallah.
Beautiful. I love that. That's a very cool extended one word, or a creative word, a creative way.
Sorry, thank you. I cheated. So.
But yes, beautiful other words coming up as well. Transformative, blessed, alhamdulillah. Yeah, it's so lovely. It's such a beautiful way of just getting that little snippet about how people are and connected. Yep. Cool. Anyway, and inspired as well. I'm loving them all. So yes, beyond talking about our Zoom names, today in many ways I think it really represents quite a rare opportunity. So I feel like so often in these kind of intensive programs, including with the IMEP in the past, we're so fully present and engaged and diving into the program itself that we don't always necessarily have the time to be able to stop and reflect on our journey together so far until you get to right at the very end. But alhamdulillah, with this format that we have, with the hybrid format that we only really started working with from last year, today's session isn't a farewell. It isn't an end to our experience. Rather, it's more of a pivot point where we have a chance to pause and reflect on our journey together so far, as well as starting to turn our attention to the next phase of our journey together, inshallah, which will be beginning in less than 2 weeks' time. So yeah, just to offer a super brief recap of what you already know, we started our journey together almost 5 weeks ago now, when we were officially welcomed to the program. We set our intentions, we reflected on how we wanted to engage with the program and with each others that would make us feel safe and respected. Alhamdulillah, from our perspective as program organisers, we have absolutely seen those intentions reflected in the sessions that we have held, with consistently respectful, insightful and really broad-ranging questions and reflections being offered by delegates and speakers, and also within our breakout rooms. So that has been something that we have been really privileged and really loved seeing amongst you all. We have explored many, many different themes, ranging from the history of Islam in both of our countries, community leadership, the role of female ulama, crucial issues such as mental health, creating cultures of consent, inter and intrafaith dialogue, and the topic of social entrepreneurship, how to create sustainable organizations, and our shared commitment to creating lasting change. And they're just the topics that we officially covered. I feel like we should ask Mashibat, the breakout room lover, what additional topics came through in the breakout rooms, because other topics always do come up, and that's part of the beauty of that space. So these are all really big topics that we have explored together. And so what we have done is, well, mainly our communications team, who we are very grateful to, they have created just a small special treat to help jog all of your memories, and remind us of a few of the highlights of our journey together so far. Once again, over to Ro.
Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. We're very excited to kick off the AIMEP for 2025.
And it is really exciting to finally have us all here together.
It is my absolute honour to officially welcome you to the launch of the AIMEP 2025 program.
To the 19 successful delegates, congratulations.
I wish you every success with this very important AIMEP program.
We hope, inshallah, that you have profound connections and drive those opportunities into the future.
The first human contact we know about in Australia before European settlement is with Muslims from Indonesia. And they would come and they would trade, and they were living among the indigenous people. There was sharing of culture, there was sharing of language, there was sharing of religious ideas as well.
Muslims in Australia come from 183 different countries. So Islam in Australia is extremely culturally diverse. We cannot help but crash into other ways of being Muslim and other ways of understanding Islam.
Indonesia is the largest Muslim majority country in the world, with a population of about now 285 million people. Around 87% of them are Muslims, and Indonesia has the most mosques in the world.
Indonesian Islam also has its very unique character of hybridity. It tries to complement existing cultural norms. The local custom is trying to make their own maxims based on the Islamic law.
You cannot just practice only solidarity with other Muslims if you want to achieve Islam as the blessings to the universe, because it's Islam rahmatan lil alamin, not Islam rahmatan lil muslimin.
Some of the challenges have been really carving out space for the female voice, where women are recognized as knowledgeable in this space, but also carving out space in leadership at a higher level.
Ulama perempuan means that people, both women and men, they are taqwa, akhlakul karimah, uphold justice, provide maslahah, and they have the gender equality perspective.
When safety is designed into the system, then you don't need to rely on people's bravery as much. So creating safety within community spaces, making it easy to do the right thing.
The culture of consent and respect are intersected with some element. For instance, consent versus marriage paradigm, the notion of shame, and the religious and cultural norms are intersected with women's life.
If you become a leader, then you need also to be listener. You need to be forward. Leader does not mean always standing ahead, because we need to learn from others. We need to be students, although we are teachers.
We need to have the basic skills to be able to hold space for people in our family, in our community. Sometimes we underestimate the power of listening with your body language, your words, your cultural and religious sensitivity.
Factors that influence the condition of mental health problems is not only as simple as because people doesn't pray or do not have enough gratitude, but there are the bio-psycho-social factors that could influence as well.
The oneness of God means that the source of goodness is one. So any group, any belief, any tribes, any school of thought that teaches us goodness must come from one source, which is God.
Interreligious dialogue is not about seeking converts. It's about building mutual understanding and working together for the common good. It's showing love, it's showing acceptance.
Start the social enterprise with the participative models, because we should know what is the root cause of the problem, and of course what is the important for the local people, what are their priorities.
There's a lot of work that can be done in relationship building. The relationships and the networks you build will stay with you forever. They can have a massive effect later down the track.
It was quite interesting to discuss about, the different practices of Islam in Australia and Indonesia.
There was a lot of interesting dialogue around our experience being migrants in Australia and how we've interacted with indigenous and how we assimilated and how did we feel.
We cannot come a superhero that we want to fix all the problems happen in the village or in the community, so we have to come and listen.
Learning resilience and dealing with our mental health is obviously such a significant issue that we're all have a say in.
We have to create dialogues because we can fade away our prejudice or negative perspective.
Don't go through life with these preconceived notions of how people are. Get out there and see how they are.
Everyone has the same opportunity to share their perspective here, no matter what about their stories, their background.
It was good to know one another. It was very inspiring. So it looks like it's going to be a great program for us.
Thank you all for choosing to be a part of this journey together with us.
It's been really, really interesting, and also at a very profound level. I think we've all benefited, and inshallah we'll be seeing you in person. So see you soon.
Thanks everyone. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it brought back some beautiful memories. It was so lovely to see the true superstars included in the video towards the end there. Absolutely, our program would not be what it was without all the contributions that you guys have brought over time. So now, hang on, I've got my questions I've got to pull up. So with the images, with the words, with the memories from that video fresh in your mind, we're now going to invite you to head into our breakout rooms for today. And as a special treat, we're going to make the breakout room slightly longer than usual. So you'll get 25 minutes instead of the usual 20. The questions that we're inviting you to reflect on, I'm not sure if we've given them to Ulfa or not, so maybe if you wanted to share them in the chat, if you can. The first are related to program highlights and learning. So for our Indonesians, what did you learn about Australia that you found most valuable or particularly interesting? The reverse, for Australians, what did you learn about Indonesia that you found most valuable or particularly interesting? And for all of you, what was your biggest overall takeaway or highlight of the online experience? And then if you manage to get through all of that, the next sub-question is what you're most looking forward to in our journey to come. So what we're going to do is we're going to approach it a little bit differently. So where are we? So what we'll do is we'll actually share a Google spreadsheet. What's it called?
Google Slides.
Google Slides. That is the word. This is a good point at which to run out of my words rather than at the start of the program. Google Slides we will share with you if you'd like to share some of your notes there. And so then our team will get you to report back, but we'll also put a few of the words into like a word cloud. So
you don't have to use the slides, but it's just if it's helpful. I know some people, I think last year we had some groups used it, some groups didn't.
Okay. So yeah, it's there if you would like to. We will share the link. What we will do afterwards is that we will actually invite 3 people from each breakout room to report back. So we'll have one Indonesian to talk about your highlights and learnings about Australia, one Australian to talk about your highlights and learnings about Indonesia, and then another person to talk about what your group is most looking forward to. So there'll be plenty of time for feedback. The idea for today is really for it to be a very relaxed session, more of a conversation with each other. And inshallah, there will be a chance for everyone to contribute to our discussion together.
I'm really looking forward to the highlights and what people took away, because it's often quite unexpected for us to hear. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely true. It's always really interesting, and that's part of why we're doing the big reporting back for everyone to have a chance, because so often what stood out for one person is different to another. So yeah, we're really, really looking forward to it. So I think if we've got the questions there and the link, and there's the breakout rooms.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Oh, hello.
Welcome back, everybody. Did you need another half an hour? Yeah.
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 We need more time to discuss, Brina.
We need 2 more hours.
2 more hours. Excellent. I love it. All right. Well, basically, all we have left to do is have more discussion together. So yeah, and I have in my notes to mention later as well, because so many of our Indonesians, alhamdulillah, are hopefully able to join us in Jakarta. The time on the bus between meetings, that's like in-person breakout rooms. So plenty more discussion time to come, inshallah. All right, cool. Who should we hear from first? Maybe, all right, I was going to mix up Indonesians and Australians, but I think my brain will probably not be able to do that. So how about room number 2? If we could have an Indonesian who'd like to talk about their highlights. So we had, or highlights from your room. Sami, Erin, and Mas Mirza. Yes. Yep. Oh, okay. Ro, what are you wanting to suggest?
That's all right. Go on.
Oh, good. Okay, who have we got? Sorry. Sami, are you?
Yes, Bu Brina. I think I will go with the first question, and the next one we will move to Kamirza perhaps, or Sister Juliana or Kak Erin too. So yeah, I think as Indonesian, what we learn from Australia and value most is how inclusivity is not just spoken or in theory based, but in practice across different aspects of society. And we were impressed by initiatives that actively encourage women's participation in sports, creating platforms where women can lead and thrive, and also by programs that foster interfaith dialogue, which reminded us how important it is to build understanding across differences. And we also value seeing how Australia emphasizes mental health as part of a community well-being, like ensuring safe spaces where people feel supported and heard. And another highlight for us was learning about the long-standing friendships and cultural exchanges that communities in Makassar have nurtured with Indigenous people in Northern Australia. And this connection show us how relationships rooted in respect and mutual learning can grow strong across border and even until this moment. And we also observe how Australia has advanced frameworks, regulation, and initiative on gender equality, disability, and social inclusion, or GETSI, which we found particularly relevant since Indonesia is still developing in this area. And all in all, for us, this lesson were both eye-opening and inspiring, giving us new perspective on how inclusivity, well-being, and cultural respect can be embedded into community life and policymaking in ways that build resilience and deepen solidarity, and also at the same time create space for everyone to participate fully. So yeah, that's all, Brina. Probably Kak Mirza want to move to the second prompt.
Mirza, you've been yeah.
Yeah. We have a lot of discussion with a lot of perspective from the Australia and also the Indonesia. But
sorry. Is this going to be about what the Australians learned?
No, I don't.
No. I think it's for the question C question for everyone.
Okay.
What was
the highlights?
The highlights, yeah.
Yeah. I'll just let you know, that's why I'm trying to create a word cloud behind the scenes, and I'm going to get very confused. But I think I'm just going to, anyway, carry on, Mas Mirza. Silakan.
Okay. So what we like about this AIMEP program online experience is, the first one is about the diverse topics that's offered by the amazed speakers from the different background. We learn a lot of things about the GETSI, the interfaith dialogues, and also the social organization that's leverage our experience. And actually, my personal perspective, I learned a lot of things that I do not understand in the early. Now I can know exactly what I want to do in the Nganjuk especially. So the second one is about the Breakout Room. So it is very interesting because we know a lot of things from each other in the personal level. So when I talk with the other Australian or Indonesian delegates, I know their backgrounds, I know their problem, and I know their perspective and how to solve the problems. And the last one is about the delegate presentations. We love the delegate presentation, but I think we need to add more the time. 5-minute presentation is very short, Pak Rowan.
Yes.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, maybe we can conduct 30 minutes.
Can have 4 weeks of guest speakers and then 4 weeks of delegate presentations.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. So we can conduct the Q&A with each delegates. That's very interesting because I know a lot of things that from their program and the fellow the first rounded experience. That's our talk about the question number C. Maybe Kak Juliana, Sister Juliana.
Well, so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to go to the next room, if that's okay, and we'll go through all the Indonesians reflecting on what they've learned about Australia first, just to help Mas Rowan with his word cloud, so he's not trying to do them all at the same time.
My brain will explode.
All right, how about room 3? There's only Mbak Ajeng and Mbak Nina, so one of you, if you would like to share with us your highlights about Australia, inshallah.
Okay, Madina, can I? Or you want? Okay. So,
or it's not a formal session, so you can both tag team and both say things if you like.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay,
sorry,
okay.
go for it.
Yeah, okay. What we learn many things from Australians, our Australian fellow, and also the speakers. And what we learn is Australia is able to maintain every aspect of diversity and become a very beautiful country. The love of Islam continues to spread, even though people come from different backgrounds. Yeah, and also how Australian very aware and respect about the indigenous people. Yeah, I think that's really different. In Indonesia, sometimes we are forget about our local people here, and how the every Australian speaker acknowledge the indigenous people in the first of speech. I think that's really beautiful, and also how Australians aware about the issue related to the culture of consent. I think sometimes we are in Indonesia, we forget about how to ask consent to our maybe community or the people we work with, and also the how they concern about mental health and also get sick. That's what we learn. I think we learn many things, but if we cannot tell everything here, but maybe Mbak Dina, you will add something.
Yeah, because we agree that contemplating to what happened in Indonesia to indigenous people, for example, for with Dayak people being oppressed due to the IKN building, and I think there are a lot of indigenous people in Indonesia that now are marginalized due to the development of this country. I think it's a beautiful, simple gesture of just acknowledgement for the indigenous people, the First Nation of Australia. Really, it's simple but really warm our hearts to know that people, no matter how modern they are or living in this present, still remember the First Nation, their ancestor and others. So yeah, that what makes us really learn on how to still respect and prioritize the indigenous people.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a beautiful reflection. And yeah, I mean, it's something I love doing at the start of each session. I feel like it's a beautiful reminder for all of us of the land that we're gathering on. So thank you so much, guys. How about room 1? We've got Tehnisa, Mbak Bani, Mas Mujib. Would someone like to talk about what you've learned about Australia there?
Yeah, I think I can share because I was pointed by the team under 10 seconds of the breakout room before it's closed. So yeah, I will start from the perspective of us as Indonesian to our Australian friends and delegates here. Yeah, for us as Indonesian, there are a lot of lessons learned that we've got from our Australian friends. For example, like how Muslim in Australia express themselves differently from Indonesian. For example, in Australia, there are a lot of interfaith dialogue than in Indonesia, and also there's also similarity between Indonesia and Australia of how Muslim women kind of has a limited access to become a leader, and also it happened in Indonesia, so we found that similar. And then there's also a reflection from our friends that how we as Indonesians sometimes take it for granted as Muslim because we born as Muslim without really learn about Islam in a more like academic or the knowledge of Islam itself, because us as Indonesian, it is inherited from our parents. So sometimes, yeah, we don't learn our religion, but it's different from our Indonesian friends. For example, here there are our friends from Australia that is convert from other religion to Islam, to Muslim, as a Muslim. So we learn about how Islam as it is, not from our culture, not from our parents. So we learn about Islam as Islam. it is. So yeah, I think that's a reflection from our group.
Yeah, beautiful. That's so, yeah, I really, really love that. And I love the similarities and the differences because, you know, yeah, as we've probably said several times before, that's part of the richness of the program. But I think it's, yeah, it's really reflected in what you've learned as well. So beautiful. And then our last room for learnings about Australia, Mas Hibat, Mbak Ismi. Would one of you guys like to share a gem or two?
Yeah, Mbak Ismi, monggo.
Maybe I can share a little bit, but maybe Mas Hibat can also share. What I learned about Australia is the first thing. I love that the Australian community have so many strengths within the Muslim community, and it really shaped like the open mind attitude. So it's not a really easy to debate on the difference, but rather than embracing all the difference. But if I reflect in Indonesia, because we are the country that has majority Muslim majority, we tend to like debating each other rather than like building respect. So for example, like simple religious practice, we tend to like putting judgment rather than like embracing the difference, something like that. And I have already shared with people in my room, a breakout room also, that yeah, because of that, my family can divide it each other, and it's yeah, because of that. And Muhammadiyah, and we have like different culture, and they apa like they just cannot respect and celebrate the difference. So that's happened. And in Australia, I love that how open mind in Muslims in Australia, because people are coming from different ethnic, and yeah, so yeah, it's really beautiful. And what else? I think that's all from me. Maybe Mas Hibat would love to add
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, so the one thing that we talk in our breakout room about what we learned from Australia, that I just know in this IMEP that when Islam comes to the Australia and then contacted with the indigenous people, and then there is a similarity between the value of Islam and then the value of indigenous people, the traditional value and etc. So that's why Islam is easily accepted in Australia. That mechanism is similar in Indonesia. When Islam comes to Indonesia, we do the acculturation with the existing religion, with the existing culture, etc. That's really beautiful. And then after that, I just realized that Islam in Australia is influenced by the Makassar people, who Makassar fisher who comes to the Australia. I just know that in this IMEP session, so that's wow, there is a big contribution from Makassar people. The first time I joined the IMEP, I was wondering why you visit the Makassar. Why? Usually, if there is from abroad who come to Indonesia who want to visit, who want to study about Islam, they tend to visit Java, to the Jogja, and etc. But IMEP wants to visit Makassar. The first time I joined, I was wondering why Makassar, and then I just know that there is a big influence from Makassar fisher. There is a historical reason for that, and then yeah, I am a little bit no, I'm proud of. I'm proud that we have that connection historically, so that Islam in
Yeah.
Indonesia and Islam in Australia, there is a historical connected there.
Yeah. Maybe I can add one more thing also. That I found the story from Juliana. I found that yeah, maybe some of Muslim sisters in Australia still don't feel safe while wearing the hijab. So yeah, Juliana ever said that yeah, I I tend to be like choosing the turban instead of like wearing veil because she really don't want people ask many questions about her identity. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
absolutely. No, yeah, it is. It's Did you want to say something, Ro? Yeah. So you unmute. You're going to tell us what you learned about Indonesia, Ro.
No, when you're ready, I was just going to share what people said in there. But I thought you were.
Well, this is perfect time because we've just finished talking about what Indonesians spoke about Australia.
I will share that now.
Okay.
If I can just, here we go. There we go. Can you see that?
Rowan's creation for the day. I think it's coming. There we go.
Yeah. It's not my creation, it's your creation. So anyway, yeah, just a beautiful sort of array of things. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yes.
Very cool. Yeah.
All right.
Yes. We can also, I think we can probably take a screenshot of that and
we'll share it with you later
as well. I feel like, I mean, no pressure on the word clouds, Ro, but I feel like I'd love to get a word cloud of like all the one words that you guys have added after your names as well, because they also look really cool. I love all the different things that you've expressed. Cool. All right, Australians, your turn now. What have you guys learned about Indonesia? So how about I'll start with room 4, Ala and Ridwan. Would one of you like to share?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, there was so much to learn. I started off by saying what I learned was mostly from the delegates and their frame of mind. Also, like just using words like Khalifatul Arad and Rahmatul lil Alameen, and that just sense of obligation from our deen. And it's something that, I don't know, in a Western world, we kind of forget. And that was something really beautiful that I continued to hear from themselves and the guest speakers. So I love that. One of the other things was the balanced approach of Islam in Indonesia. And we started from the da'is when they were trying to share Islam and not tell them that it was all wrong and bid'ah, and it was more of understanding the environment and the rituals that were there and how to reframe that in a way that they can continue that, but with the sense of focus of Allah in the middle instead of all the different deities. So that was really interesting. And then I guess the women in leadership, that was also something that Ridwan also shared in terms of the role of women. And Ismi also said with the Kupi and the fatwas, that was something new too, how they are kind of leaned into through the government when we're looking at mar'a, like the rights of women and how that feeds into legislation. So that was what I learned.
Yep.
Overall, like there was too many things.
Very cool. Yeah.
I said everything. I learned everything about India.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have to read back all of your comprehensive notes from the entire 4 weeks, but those are some excellent highlights.
And Ridwan can add if he wanted to.
Yeah, look, overall enlightening. What else can I say? Life-changing, empowering. Yeah, I could go on, but just like mashallah, like the Indonesian speakers and the delegates, I just found them all sincere and honest, which is we find very hard in our society sometimes. I think just found it very natural for them to share their experiences and stories. Some of them painful, including the sectarian violence in central Kalimantan. In some part, that was very, very sad to hear all that. But I'm just the way of Islam in Indonesia, how it embraces local adets like customs and cultures. It doesn't try to suppress it. It doesn't say, look, this is Islam, black and white. Don't worry about what your ancestors did centuries ago before Islam was introduced here. And it just, adapts it and combines everything. And it's so beautiful, mashallah. And some Muslims here, unfortunately, are very black and white, and they say, don't worry about that culture, what your ancestors followed. This is the true Islam, and etc. We have a lot to learn, I think, as well. From that point of view. And Lisa Wahid as well, her approach to leadership. I think it's a model for gold standard for non-Muslims as well, globally, about political leadership, how embracing minorities as equals, not just as citizens, but an humanist approach. And that's another side of core principles of Islam that we should, showcase more. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Cool. I might jump over to room number 1, Iman and Kudrat, if either of you would like to share a few highlights.
Yeah. We can tag team with Kudrat. Our points were actually quite similar, regardless. So both of us were really surprised at how intertwined culture and religion is in terms of practicing Islam in Indonesia. And Ridwan just mentioned that as well. And it's made me, I guess, a lot more open-minded and almost creative in my thinking in terms of, things don't need to be maybe as black and white as they are. And there's more flexibility than I thought in terms of how we can express our faith and like festivities we can bring into it. So it was just beautiful to hear those experiences and hear how common they are in other parts of the world. What else? And of course, the amazing contributions that our fellow delegates are making. It's been so inspiring to hear from and learn from and have conversations in breakout rooms with Muslim leaders in Indonesia who, mashallah, are so humble, but such, driven change makers that are just so specialized in their fields. And in Australia, as a minority, I guess it's harder to come by such talent, where mashallah, in Indonesia, it seems like it's a Muslim majority country. There's millions of Muslims, but it's just incredible to see Muslims doing such amazing things and really leading the way in your field. So yeah, it's been an honor to be in this program with you guys and to learn from you. Yeah, there were our points. I'm not sure if Kudrat wants to add anything further.
I think you said it all, but yeah, one of the other things I think I learned also was from how respectful our Indonesian colleagues are in regards to referring to saying mass and boo and all of that. So that's really I'm not able to keep up with them. I haven't really learned them, but I do refer to some of my friends as Mas Nadim and Mas this, and they're like, "What are you saying?" I'm like, "Don't worry, I've learned this new thing." So it's obviously there's a lot of learning with, and like Iman said also, the amazing work that everyone does in their communities. That's been really, really inspiring.
Yep. Beautiful. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I feel like I was just doing like heart emoji after heart emoji with that reflection. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, inspiring work from everyone. I feel like I just want to do a little side mention as well with Kudrat talking about, by the way, you pronounce both of those words really nicely, mas and bu. So you're doing well on the pronunciation. We actually have, I wasn't going to mention it until later, except I feel like it's a nice segue. Our team have actually been working, or mainly in Mbak Ulfa, but on a really simple language learning app. So it's super new and super tiny, but inshallah, we will share it with you guys after the session today. And it just has a few simple phrases in there for Australians who might like to learn a bit before we go away. So it has the pronunciation guide, and you can press on it to hear the Indonesian, and we'll share it with all of you. So please be kind Indonesians or people who already speak Indonesian, but you are welcome to give us feedback. And for Australians, if there's a particular phrase that you're like, I really want to be able to say this thing when I'm in Indonesia, let us know, and inshallah you can help us to build it up and add in a few things. But I don't think we've got mas bulpa in there just yet, so maybe we need to add those as well. Cool. All right, room 2, Juliana. Where's Julie? Yes.
The word cloud maker exploded. It wasn't just my brain. So I'm going to share
what you've got so far.
Australian said tomorrow, or maybe
tomorrow.
the next day. Yeah, I'll watch the video again because there were some beautiful words that came out, but the tech kind of let me down, unfortunately. It was and also my brain. So we'll just proceed without.
All good. That's all right. Everyone speaking is I'm very happy with that. But yeah, we can do a word cloud tomorrow as well. All yours, Juliana.
So I was the only Aussie in the
Yeah.
room. So it's just my reflections, I guess.
Yeah, all good.
One of the most interesting things that I learnt was the concept of NU and Muhammadiyah. And I was like super surprised because I have Indonesian friends. I grew up with Indonesian friends and no one has ever mentioned it. But I guess it's that thing of when you, maybe because the Indonesian friends that I have in Australia were born and bred here. So they don't really have that kind of identifying aspect that NU and Muhammadiyah seems to have for like Indonesians in particular. So learning about that was really interesting. And I guess also talking, I mean, Kak, it's me, you spoke about me, so I'm gonna turn it back to you as well in terms of, you know, how that can actually clash and cause issues in families, especially, which I guess we see a little bit of it here in terms of sort of Salafis and people who want to follow a madhab and traditional Islam, which I think Sister Susan talked about in terms of our moon wars and when we start Eid and when we start Ramadan. So there's a bit of similarity there, but I guess the extent of that Muhammadiyah and NU breakdown was really interesting for me to learn and appreciate. Pesantren and the communities that are around them and how involved they are in kind of that like educational aspect in Indonesia that I think is again a very new thing to learn about, because a lot of the, and we do have boarding schools in Australia, but it's not that intense, and a lot of the Islamic schools that we have is just normal day schools. So yeah, and learning about, you know, the brothers who are like running the pesantren or running schools and all of the things that you kind of have to manage with that. Differences between like rural and urban based projects and things that are, to be honest, a lot of it was about the delegates and our cohort and their work, which you kind of learn about the differences in terms of rural programs versus city and urban based, how Jakarta is very different to, you know, more rural areas. I did kind of also, you know, some of the negatives, I guess, that some of our Indonesian cohorts mentioned, like child marriage issues and the effects from that, and also the work that's being done to counter that, which is, you know, obviously something that's needed. And one of the things that I mentioned is, you know, I guess because Indonesia is a Muslim majority country, you have child marriages, whereas here we have very young people who, you know, engage in very quote unquote naughty sort of behaviors that are sort of, you have like the flip side of that. So the similarities as well as the differences. Whereas, you know, very young, I guess, kids, teenagers do engage in sort of extramarital or illicit sort of relationships. And sure, they don't get married, but then there are still circumstances and consequences to that I can see at work. So I guess it's that flip side of the two things that we see. And then, yeah, lastly, I think what everyone else has mentioned, including Iman, is the amazing work that Indonesian cohorts do, including the women leaders. I find it really surprising because Sam and Arian both talked about how there's so many women leaders within the Australian cohort, but you guys, you're it too. like the work that you're doing is women leading. So I know that obviously, especially the patriarchal kind of society, maybe a little bit more patriarchal than Australian quote unquote society, it's probably a little bit easier, but we also have, I think our ceilings are a little bit more covert. It's not as obvious. You know, and that's a whole nother thing that I can go into. But yeah, so it's not as obvious, but I think like you guys have to realize how amazing the women of our cohorts are. So I'll end with that.
Yeah, to that, absolutely. What a beautiful a beautiful note to end on, and couldn't agree more. I just wanted to mention as well, when you mentioned at the start about like getting inside to NU Muhammadiyah and pesantren, like it's so cool that you guys have a sense of that at the end of the online, because the in-person, right, is like 2 weeks and it's pretty full on.
It's a whirlwind.
Yeah, it's a whirlwind. Whirlwind's a better word. It's a whirlwind. And I think having that foundation that you have, you know, from each other, especially from each other, from the, you know, the rural versus the urban, the NU Muhammadiyah, the pesantren context, you know, I just feel like it gives you such a beautiful foundation to then be able to, you know, inshallah in Jakarta, just outside of Jakarta, and also in Makassar, we'll be visiting a pesantren in each city, you know, and we'll be visiting NU and Muhammadiyah.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool that you already have that kind of sense, that you won't be arriving at a pesantren kind of going, oh my goodness, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, because I spoke to some friends who've been in AIMEP prior. Sorry, I'm interrupting you. Prior to the online component, because I was mentioning it, and she was like, "We never did that. I just went to a boarding school," and I was so shocked. So I was like, I had no idea what was going on. And I was like, "Wait, what?" You know. So that's the thing. I think we also did mention, to be fair, that the online program is such a great thing, because we learn to make those connections that we are going to build on, rather than just making the connection face to face, which is always a bit more awkward, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that meeting in person as in the first time when you don't have that foundation behind you, like it's challenging. Like the program in the past has always, so basically pre-COVID, the program didn't have an online component. The Australians would travel to Indonesia and the Indonesians would come to Australia, but basically you'd meet each other at a dinner, you know? So what we have now is just, you know, a lot more than a dinner. You know, like this is serious, strong connections created in this space, so that inshallah, when you do meet in person, it's like, oh, we already have this rich, beautiful history behind us that means that the experiences are so much more than just hitting the ground. I mean, you'll also be hitting the ground and running, but you know, with that foundation behind you, inshallah. But yeah, beautiful.
We'll literally have conversations that we need to end from the breakout room.
Yeah, it's quite a list, I think, in some cases. Love that. All right, Anjum, room 3. Represent. I think you're the only person who was in there, so there you go.
Everyone's just summed up everything, alhamdulillah. But just off the back of what Juliana said about the female empowerment, I have to say and mention the brothers in the room as well. And I feel like for us as sisters to feel, subhanAllah, safe in a space, to feel that we can even say our women empowerment over and over again, which we do, we have to be around brothers who are able to hold that space for us. And I feel like in, you know, starting from Brother Rowan to like the Australian delegates to then the Indonesian delegates, subhanAllah, in each breakout room especially, I feel like as sisters, like I have personally felt so empowered through the brothers as well who are with us, and I feel like we need some hearts and claps for them as well, because it's so unique and rare to be in a situation with Muslim in a Muslim only gathering where you feel like, you know, like nobody feels awkward, like as in like none of the I don't feel awkward about any of the brothers, or I'm like, you know, where I need to be like, oh, I can't say something about my experience as a Muslim woman, or, you know, even in terms of accepting our personalities. I feel like it's a big deal. So I just wanted to say that that's been really you know, mashallah, really empowering and contributed to our empowerment, alhamdulillah. And then everything that everybody else has said, I think in terms of the diversity of the delegates from Indonesia, that was something I loved, and I think it's a testament to the program, like to your selection, mashallah, Brinna, because I was saying that one of the things I learned, which isn't what I've learned through the program, but kind of like having to look at the map, and you sent me a map and you were trying to map things out for me. And I was like, hold up, why does Indonesia look so small on the like globe? And then like, it's like a 10-hour drive to the other side, like, which all of that is considered East Java. So 10 hours drive is considered East Java. Like, it was just mind blowing. So like the the size of Indonesia, I think got me. And then also like how everybody in the breakout rooms was from so much diversity. Like I think Probolinggo, which I think you were asking about, is like I don't even know where Probolinggo is, like, but then like where is that? You know, like whereas compared to Sydney, Australia, it's like most of our leaders come from main cities. So it's like Sydney, Perth, Adelaide, you've got the main cities. Whereas I'm finding like from Indonesia, people are from everywhere. And that's been really, subhanAllah, so amazing to see that there's Islamic leadership in really like, even like really rural areas. And mashallah, like the way that the Indonesian delegates are representing in your like local communities is very localized. That was really beautiful to learn about. It's not just like in Jakarta or a certain place. And then, yeah, the Muhammadiyah NU thing, I feel like we've come across a secret, because when I was in Medina, I met an Indonesian in a shop and I was telling them about AIMEP, you know, I was selling AIMEP to them, and I was telling them about NU, and I was trying to recruit them to apply, and like NU and Muhammadiyah. And then they couldn't believe it. It was like, what? You know about that? How do you know about that? So the way their reaction was, I thought, huh? So it's like, it feels like it's some kind of secret. So learning about that, and also in the breakout rooms, the way everybody spoke about it, it seems like there's so much more to uncover about it. So that was definitely a highlight. And then I think, yeah, I think finally one of the highlights is that it's made me, I've loved every single inquiry in conversation with the Indonesian delegates. I've loved every single question and inquiry. And then I've loved also kind of tag teaming with Australians and seeing like, is that your experience? Because this has been my experience. And it's really broadened my mindscape and understanding of Islam overall. So just my understanding of Islam is completely changed, and like what that means in an international context and what that means. And I think that's the strength and power of mashallah, this program. So that was it in a nutshell. Just like
amazing. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm loving all these reflections. I'm conscious it's already 8:30 and we haven't quite made it to question 3 or 4 yet. So we might combine them both. I mean, I feel like people have already spoken about a lot of their highlights and biggest takeaways from the experience overall. So yeah, I mean, I think what people are looking forward to, and if there are any highlights that you feel like haven't been covered that are, you know, perhaps from a different angle. I don't know. Did many people make it to what they're looking forward to? Just like raise your hand if you did in your breakout room. We got the sense that maybe a few people, okay, maybe everybody didn't. All right, how about we just do a random, okay, this sometimes goes well and other times not so well. Would anyone like to just put up their hand or unmute if you want to say something that you're really excited about in the incoming up person in either country?
Like durian, for example.
Okay, I don't know if Australians are all familiar with durian. Yeah, Juliana, you're nodding. Just no. Like, okay, Rowan will be at the durian stall, very far away from our hotel, where you can go to eat smelly fruit together if you want to. I will take everyone else to a different cafe, and you can experience jus alpukat, which is like avocado juice with chocolate drizzled down the side, and it's not smelly at all. So you can come on my team if you want to have that. Go with Ro for the smelly fruit. I feel like we've taken over the sharing back here. Tropical fruits. All the tropical fruits are good. Does anyone have either what they're looking forward to or a question that they want to ask? So we're at the point, inshallah, where we've confirmed most of the program for Jakarta. Actually, inshallah, hopefully all of the program for Jakarta, I think, and most of the program for, I'm not sure, are people being counted in for the durian or for the jus alpukat over there? Durian team. Oh no. Oh yes. Okay, cool. People are joining my team. Okie doke. Everyone, you are more than welcome to unmute or just keep discussing your preferences in the, what has been your highlight? Oh, what a cool question. Putting us on the spot. I didn't think of answering the question myself. Look, I feel like what I could say is how amazing all you guys are, but I feel like I say that pretty much every session. So I feel like that would be a little bit of a cop-out. So I'm actually going to try and think about the sessions that we ran. Look, the Creating Cultures of Consent was the first time we've run that session. And I really loved that. I felt like it was a really positive way of kind of going, okay, there's things that we can do here. And I really love our speakers. Like, I feel like they are both doing amazing things on the ground. And I feel like, but you guys as well, like the way that you engage with that session, it was like, okay, we've started off with a bit of theory. We all know the theory. It's all lovely, but let's bring it down onto the ground. Let's talk about what's actually happening. Let's talk about what the reality looks like, which I think only comes through questions from people who are actually on the ground, like genuinely engaging. So I actually got an email from Toltu just today because we sent her a thank you, and she wrote back and she was like, mashallah, the questions, it was amazing. It's a really difficult, nuanced space. She's like, make sure people know that I'm happy for them to contact me outside of the program, because I was so impressed by their questions and the way that they engaged. So yeah, that one, I mean, there were many others as well, but that one, and I feel like the mental health session as well, I feel like both of those sessions kind of blew me away, this program in particular. What about you, Ro?
Yeah, me too. Those sessions, I came out of those sort of, we were talking about, especially the questions, and also I felt like we went to a whole new level of hearing from you guys about what are the challenges, what are the issues that you're grappling with, and it went really quite quickly from that week one where we're just learning about that sort of surface, complexity, and then sort of delving deep into, here are some very, very deep issues in our communities that we're all grappling with, and how can we, so those two, and also the interfaith dialogue one, I really like that one, just because I thought those, I don't know, for me, the two speakers were, we've known them for a while, but I just, I like a good but the delegate spotlights and this session actually are probably my complete favorite, because of what we're hearing from you guys and just learning about all your work and what you've learned, and hearing you reflect back to us. For me, like, that just puts a smile on my face when you talk about, wow, NU Muhammadiyah didn't realize, or, Australia, I didn't realize they have this issue with women's access to mosques. It's also, I mean, it doesn't put a smile on my face, but the fact that there's commonalities, and the fact that there's something new that you've, learned through the program. So that makes me happy.
Yeah, very cool. I think Ulfa has tried to get out of answering, but if you have a favorite moment that you want to mention, but Ulfa, you're welcome to unmute, but no pressure.
All right.
Yeah, all right, go for it.
So yeah, I always amazed, like 3 years working with AIMEP, I always amazed with the enthusiasm of the delegates, and I often being asked from Australian delegates about the whirlwind situation in the pesantren, and I think this is I would agree with Bu Brina that it is a good foundation that we have. So you're not getting a shock therapy when you're coming to Indonesia, kind of. So you're ready and prepared. So, and I'm excited to meet you all in person, inshallah.
The durian will be the shock therapy.
I think you'll just have Juliana feeling
it'll be so disappointing if there is no actual durian. Everyone will be.
Just me. There's heaps of people who have said Team Durian.
Yeah, but from the Australian delegates, I feel like you'll probably be the most enthused.
That's because I have to rep my Malaysianness in this situation.
Gado-gado, you can get gado-gado everywhere, and I recommend it, and it's much less offensive than durian. So yeah,
All
definitely
the
try
Indonesian food.
gado-gado.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Lots of Indonesian food. I haven't actually been to Makassar in a very long time, but I think what Bu Lydia said before about the food being really good, I feel like everyone who goes to Makassar, they come away being like, the program was great, but the food. Sorry.
So I
You're
need
trying
to start losing weight so that I can gain the weight. Is that in the 2 weeks?
That's
You're
right. We'll keep you walking to keep you. But yes, yeah, I feel like I should probably. Oh, so Lufa has just shared with us some of her highlights, which actually leads beautifully into what I have next on my list, which is to say a huge thank you to our amazing Mosaic team. So Mbak Ulfa, Mbak Nurul, who are both here. But Ulfa, you've all been in touch with. She has been doing amazing work with communications and many, many other things behind the scene. But Noro, you've probably been in touch with much less, but she is the person behind all the amazing social media that we have. Anything that we send you that looks good, that's Mbak Nurul. So she is doing amazing work behind our team, behind the scene. And then we also have Farhana, who you will get to know really well in the in-person because she does all the footage. So she will be coming along to all of our meetings. She made the fantastic reel today. So yeah, the program absolutely wouldn't be what it was without our amazing team. So thank you so much, guys. Yeah, I feel like we can keep talking about durian, or I can do some of my just little practical notes that I have for the end of this part of our conversation. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we are in the final stages, inshallah, of finalizing the program for Indonesia. So pretty much all our program for Jakarta has been confirmed. Inshallah, all of our Indonesian delegates will be able to join for at least part of that time, and quite a few will be able to join for all of that time, which I'm really looking forward to. So we'll hopefully be able to share that we're aiming for around the end of this week. So you have a bit of time to have a look at it. We'll add in some links. But, especially for Indonesian organizations, a lot of the links will probably link to Indonesian language websites. So if you want to get some background on where we're going, your best source is right here in this room. And it's not me and Rowan, it's the fellow delegates. But yeah, related to the program coming together, as you can probably appreciate, with everything happening in Indonesia at the moment, which I'm sure everyone has some degree of familiarity with protests and things like that. We have obviously been really aware of that. We have changed up some of the program in response to that, basic things like not visiting Parliament, but also liaising with the embassy and the Consulate General in Makassar to get a really clear sense of what they think will be most comfortable and the safest. Ultimately, the highest priority for us is your safety and knowing that we can put together a program where you are able to, inshallah, just relax and enjoy the meetings that we go to. So yeah, we have sent out an email to Australian delegates with some details. Inshallah, we'll also be holding an online pre-departure briefing next week on Tuesday, where we'll give you a little bit more detailed update if there is one. But everyone, please do be assured that we are actively in contact with our with embassy and consulate contacts on the ground, and we're asking them for any updates that they have about things that we need to do, extra precautions. And inshallah, at this point in time, the travel warning from the Australian government hasn't changed. It's the same as it was previously. Our sense is that it is safe to have a program, as long as we take a few extra precautions. So that's what we're running with at the moment, but definitely keeping in touch to make sure that that remains the case, inshallah, for the next few weeks. Prior to the pre-departure briefing that we have scheduled, we will share the link to the language learning app, which hopefully will be helpful and of interest. But yeah, as we mentioned, it's still very new, so feedback or input is very welcome. If you are someone who's interested or open to, for Australians in particular, taking probiotics, you might want to think about starting to take them from now. We're not planning on it, just the digestive culture shock of going to Indonesia. It's a very different, it is just different to Australia, and some people's stomachs do take a little bit of time to adjust. So sometimes taking probiotics for a week or two before you go, and then while you're there, can just help make your digestive system more robust, so that you can be more adventurous if you want to in your culinary exploration. Yeah, so in terms of the program, I'm not going to go into the fine details, but basically everyone from Australia, inshallah, will be arriving. Anjum and Luke are coming slightly earlier, but all the other delegates will be arriving on Monday evening on the 15th of September. And then our Indonesian delegates will be joining at different times of day on Tuesday, the 16th. We do have a meeting confirmed with Ibu Alisa Wahid in the afternoon on the Tuesday, which Indonesians are welcome to join if they would like to, if they've already arrived. But our main program altogether will start at 3:30, where we'll have our delegate workshop together. We have a couple of things planned for there, which inshallah we hope will be fun. And then we'll head over to the Grand Indonesia shopping mall, which is right across from where we'll all be staying. And so that's where we've booked for a dinner on the first night, on the Monday, which will just be all of us together at Rembulan. We've got a lovely big private room there. Masibat approves of our booking selection.
Food always makes me.
Excellent. Well, you can help us work out the menu for the evening, Masibat.
I will.
Excellent. Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, and then the official embassy welcome dinner has ended up being on Tuesday evening. Inshallah, that will be at the Australian
Wednesday evening.
Sorry, Wednesday evening. Sorry, our second night. So on the Wednesday evening, not at the same time as Rembulan. So Rembulan on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we'll be at the Australian Embassy, and it will be hosted, inshallah, by the Australian ambassador to Indonesia, Mr. Rod Brazier. There'll be other people from the embassy there as well, and we're also starting to get RSVPs from our alumni community across the full 23 years of the AIMEP program. So there'll be lots of interesting people for you guys to connect with and meet there as well, inshallah. And then, yeah, after that, we have the official meetings and then the very important breakout room discussions, which will happen on the bus between the meetings. And Jakarta is very kind. I'm sure that Jakarta will give us plenty of time on the bus because Jakarta is very good at traffic jams and other such things. So you'll I anticipate you'll have plenty of room, plenty of time in your in-person breakout rooms. Yeah, I think that is all I have on my list. Yeah. So I think unless anyone else, did you want to?
I'll try and share those summaries of what you shared because they're all really beautiful. So I'll do that in the next couple of days, hopefully.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll keep going with the WhatsApp. We'll share the video from tonight when we upload that tomorrow. We'll share the language learning app so you can have a bit of a play. And sometime soon, we'll probably also create subgroups within the WhatsApp particularly for Australian delegates, so that we can, so as you get closer to your in-person visits for both programs, we create the subgroups that will have just Australians or just Indonesians for the sort of more logistical questions that you might have and things like that, specifically related to the visit program. But yeah, unless there's anything, I don't have anything else on my list that I needed to mention. I'm sure I've probably forgotten something, but
I have about 1,000 emails to send everyone, so just stand by to get.
Yes, on that note, I'll just say, please sign the forms and send the things.
Send the things back. Yeah.
But inshallah, you know, we're getting there. I think quite a few of the Indonesian visas have already been granted. All of the paperwork is coming together for that, thanks to Mbak Ulfa and Mas Rowan. But yeah, otherwise, have a wonderful weekend, guys. If you're feeling at a loss of what to do at AIMEP time on Thursday, maybe you're welcome to do like a group WhatsApp call or something. But thank you all so much for today. As Rowan said, actually, today has just been so wonderful. It's been so lovely to hear you all. I feel like we could have a highlight video that is just, you know, snippets from what everyone has said today. That has been really, really lovely. And we have, I can't follow everything that's in the chat, but okay, beautiful. I got the thank you at the end. So thank you so much. Oh, and yes, thank you, Anjum, for your wonderful reminder. We should take a photo. All right. I'm not sure if you're able to turn your videos on, Kudrat and Ismi, or Kak Nurul, but yeah, Mbak Ulfa, are you able to take a photo?
Sure.
All right.
Please give us your big smile. Right, 1, 2, 3. Any ideas what kind of pose we?
All right, everybody do like one of the reaction things where it all floats up. Everyone simultaneously.
Oh goodness.
Right.
Ready? I don't know how to do the floating ones.
1,
1, 2, 3.
3.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And again, and again. Go, go, go.
Okay. Or we can do the little.
All right, okay.
Alrighty. I think we've got some good photos in there.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much for your time, everybody. And inshallah, we will be seeing you all in person very soon.